Well, what is going on, everybody? Welcome everybody into the Overreaction Buffalo Postgame Show on the Overreaction Sports Network, powered by Believe. My name is Joe Miller, and you can find me on Twitter at Joe Miller Wired, alongside my two co-hosts, former Buffalo Bills, John Fina and Jerry Ostroski. You can find them on Twitter at John Fina and at Ostroski_Big O. It is so good to have every single one of you joining us. Please do us a favor. Please like, please subscribe, whatever platform you are consuming this vidcast on live right now, whether it's Facebook, X, Twitter, or whatever it's on. Please like, please subscribe, leave a comment if you can. Talk to us. If you are watching live, you can chat with us. Also, if you are consuming this in post as a podcast, please do us a favor. Please like, please subscribe. But as my t-shirt from Homage says to you, happy Victory Monday, Bills Mafia. The Buffalo Bills, as I want to say, just to make Jerry mad tonight, slept through the first half to go on to score 34 unanswered points to beat the Tennessee Titans and move to 5-2. After this weekend, the Buffalo Bills have a 2.5 game lead for the division, the AFC East, and this is the time of year where the Bills' main objective, fellas, what their only job is to stack wins, and they got it done, as the fellas are making fun of me, which I'm good with, but that's all right. Fellas, what are your thoughts on this football game? How are you feeling right now?
I got big thoughts, baby. Big thoughts.
I feel like Ali Sheedy in Breakfast Club. That's why I have my hood up. I just want to put my head down on the desk and hide.
Are you going to crumple your potato chips and put them in your sandwich?
I might.
Does that make me the rebel, the wrestler, or the geek? Which one? Or yeah. I got to be the dean. What's his name?
I think you're Molly Ringwald's character.
Oh, that's cool. I like Ringwald.
Anyway, so seeing that you guys are so entirely chatty, so bringing us into this football game, I wouldn't say that the Bills were necessarily. It wasn't a must-win for the Buffalo Bills, but that Titans team, and Jerry, you talked about it on your show. They're a better team than their record states. They've got a very good defense. They've got two very good defensive tackles. They've got three wide receivers that you have to account for. They've got a good running back. Clearly the weakest link to the graphic to your show, Jerry, was Will Levis, who didn't play in this football game. And when the announcement was made that Rudolph was going to start over Levis, I got a little bit nervous, because to me, this was, well, here we go. Because the Bills prepared for Will Levis for the last, because I believe they prepared, you guys can confirm this, they prepare for the week before for this week, right? So they're like a week ahead in game plans. So I'm sure there was some scrambling going on over the last couple of days. But Rudolph came out and he was doing what he had to do. He was doing some business, hitting the guys underneath that were open and matriculating the ball down the field, as you could say.
Well, unlike the Jets, and I was surprised the Jets didn't emulate any of the Ravens and or Houston game plan. The Titans came out and basically did what the Ravens, or tried to do what the Ravens and Houston did offensively. I would like to compile a stat list of just how many receiving yards running backs and tight ends have against us, because again, like I've talked about multiple times, we do not defend the flats or the D gap very well, but it's kind of twofold. The way we play defense, it's hard to get there. And the other thing is, it's kind of that theory. If we're completing balls in the flat for 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 yards, well, we're not throwing the ball downfield for huge chunk plays in 35. Hence, like the man talked about after the game today, again, complementary football.
Yeah.
So it's one area we don't defend, but they went right to it early with screen plays and tight end dumps. We tend to have a little bit of an issue of covering underneath stuff with our linebacker group, because we do play deep in pass coverage with our backers. So, they came out in the game. They're able to do some things that some of the other teams did against us earlier in the year. But, as flat as we were in the first half, the players came out and decided to play differently at a different level the second half, and it showed. Yeah. And then we stopped the fourth down conversion. Momentum comes on our sideline, and it was over after that.
Yeah.
Jerry, I agree with you. My concern, though, is why wait so long to either A, adjust, or B, be more aggressive, or C, come out through the tunnel with a little bit more hype and a little bit more life. I don't like this idea of letting the game get dictated to us for a quarter or a quarter and a half.
I agree.
Sudden we start, playing more aggressive. We start figuring out a little bit more what their game plan is, where the weaknesses are, how to attack it. That just kind of, that's a head scratcher for me. And there are too many guys right in that 8 to 12 yard area. Now, in the long run, as the game progressed, those plays didn't develop into long, sustained drive that ended up in points.
Right.
I think the longer you can keep their offense on the field and have them picking away at you, what you're really hoping for is, when are they going to make a mistake? And this team was inclined to make mistakes.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I just want to just kind of piggyback off of what John said, and kind of, I'm a big believer in human nature. And as much as you don't think a person would have a problem getting up for a game at home on a 1 o'clock, 1 o'clock in the afternoon on a Sunday, they beat a big divisional rival on Monday night in a big performance. They win that game 23-20, short week coming in. It's, Ed Oliver's coming back off of a couple games off. There's a lot of human nature and biorhythms and stuff that go into this. So it's not a surprise to me anyway that they started slow. And I agree with John. You would think that they would come out with more energy, but it's still not a surprise to me that they would start out slow. And then in the second half, all of a sudden go, hey, we need to pick it up. And they play at the level that they should be playing at.
Jerry, do you think this defense and maybe even the offense is lacking a little bit of a hype leader? It's not Daquan Jones. It's not really Ed Oliver. It certainly isn't Rousseau or Epinesa. And I think the category exists for Williams or Bernard, or maybe even Taron Johnson. But, we had kind of hype leaders, right? We had Darryl Talley. We had Bruce Smith. We had, well, I don't think you were there with Shane Conlon, but we had some true hype leaders, Nate Odoms. And I think in the absence, and like you said, it's tough to come off a short week. In the absence of having a guy like that, you may be a role player, right? Fake it till you make it kind of thing, or somebody just has to step out. What's your take?
No, I agree with that. I think it's twofold. One, I think probably the closest thing to a hype leader we have on defense is Ed Oliver. Mm-hmm. I don't think Ed's 100% healthy. I think he played, he was able to play, but I don't think he's 100% yet or close to it. And usually he's out there doing the cowboy dance and everything else. Bernard's not that kind of guy. He's a pretty steady personality. So you're right. I think we don't really have that hype leader on defense. I think it's Ed. I think Ed's still dragging that leg around a little bit. Offensively, a lot of time those hype guys, is it that kind of a big personality wide receiver? Well, if you can't figure out real quick that Amari Cooper is not that way, then I don't know what you've been watching, because his press conferences and things like that, he's a pretty flat dude. So you're not going to get it from him. I just remember a lot of times, offensive linemen are those guys. And when I say that, not the fact they're out there jumping around, but it's being physical, finishing blocks, and doing things like Spencer Brown did last week, which you now can't do because the league is neutering that type of thing with the players. So, yes, I agree with you 100%. Who is that guy? They're having a hard time maybe finding that dude on each side of the ball.
Jerry, would you be willing to gear up, me and you alternating weekends, or just be in the locker room and fake it, a couple of road sodas to get lubed up a little bit, right?
As long as you agree to bring the Pete's coffee for the morning, the morning time again, like always, I'm down with that. We can do it.
That's funny. Well, as you break it down, the first half, the second half, offense to defense, right? And that's to your point, Jerry. Coach McDermott's post-game comments about, he didn't recognize the team that he was watching in the first half. We had guys playing on defense, we had guys playing on offense, then we had guys that were doing the special teams thing. And what he was inferring was that guys weren't really, it just wasn't coming together. And then in the second half, they came together and they played complementary football, and they became a team, and they played well, and they won, and that's why they won. And that was very pointed, Sean's comments. I guess the question for me, if you start breaking down the halves, first half to second half, and you look at, Josh's comments about first down and second down not being efficient. And so when you break it down offense to defense, the offense for me, and we talked a little bit about it before the show started. Josh Allen says, we weren't being efficient first and second down. And to me, that puts it puts an onus on him as the quarterback to then make sure that they are efficient on third down. Does it not? Because there was a lot of plays where he wasn't taking Dean Kindig, who's a guy that's on Twitter he's an older gentleman that does like a lot of like charting and stuff like that. He's super, super knowledgeable about football. He tweeted out, he said, the throws are there. The players are open. Josh just doesn't want to throw to them. So I don't know where that falls in. Where does the responsibility begin to like get into place as far as, we're going to keep calling these plays? It goes back to like Necessary Roughness. Do you guys remember that movie with Scott Blakely?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Like, and they kept running like their first series out there, they kept running the same play, and the head coach kept calling the same play. So like, Scott Bakula gets in the huddle and he calls the same play. And he's like, I think they're expecting that one, soldier. And he's like, well, they haven't seen it yet. Right. Cause we haven't actually run the play properly yet. But where does the rubber meet the road for you two, as far as in the days that you played, when you watch stuff like this, when it's like the wheels aren't coming off, but they're on the struggle bus a little bit, right? To your point about the motivator, like where does let's get this together?
I think the concept of everybody eats or receiver by committee, I don't think Josh has complete buy-in. I think he feels like he wants or needs a premier wide receiver. And I think if he gets that feeling that Amari Cooper can fall into this group and really deliver a little bit more excitement, not on his own, but in conjunction with having Shakir on the field, right, and Keon Coleman, I think what we're going to see is an expansion of the availability of guys on every play rather than looking for that single one open guy. And there might be an open guy, but with how the progression might work, that might be the third read. And I think Josh is doing something that, I think it might be hard for us to appreciate right now, but he's not forcing balls into bad situations like he's had to do last year and the year previous, right? He throws more balls away. He's less likely to throw a ball into coverage. And he's like, this is a moment where we can just fight. We can live to fight another day. Put the ball in the air with the punter and change the field position. Sam Martin's been putting pretty well, other than today, a couple. So why not just do that instead of giving the other team an opportunity to snatch momentum and move forward? So I think with the addition of Amari Cooper, I think we're going to see Dalton Kincaid get more balls, and I think we're going to see a little bit more downfield action. But it does make me wonder, when we're in third and medium, why we're not doing a little bit like the Titans and Baltimore and the Texans did to us and hit that intermediate zone area over the middle of the field.
I think a lot of it too is Josh's buy-in for that game. The first half, he went back to a little bit more of that reluctancy to execute what was there.
Right.
As far as Josh goes, he's a guy that thrives in chaos. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I would find a way to get him in chaos early, because it seems like when he has early success, things go really, really well. And, the first part of this game weren't ripping off big runs. It was a little bit of a struggle. He had the short intermediate throws there, didn't want to throw to him. Just his reluctancy to make those plays. And if I was Joe Brady, I would find ways I would run him in the first three plays. I would do something to get him involved quicker, because he just seems to be much more effective with that type of thing going on, especially early.
Yeah, he's talked about that before, that he needs that first big hit. Like, he needs to get whacked a little bit before he kind of gets mentally into the game. It'll be interesting to see just the buy-in piece. Oh, there's so many places my brain wants to go because of what we watched. And you guys know, and Jerry's texting me on the side, are you all right? And I was like, no, I'm pissed. Like, the first half of that game just didn't look the way that I kind of had pictured it was going to look. And I'm sure that it didn't for them either. But inevitably, even defensively, we know how this defense is. They're very much a wait and see approach. Like, okay, let's see what you're going to do against us. We're going to and then shore it up and figure it out. And they did just that. In the second half, that defense was suffocating, which was fun to watch. They were flying around the football. They were attacking players. They were attacking the ball. It was just, and the Titans were doing dumb things bad teams always compile problems, right? So the third down and short, they don't get it, and they're on their own at 43 or 44, and then they go for it on fourth down. Everybody in the stadium is like, "You're kidding me, right? You're going to go for this right now?" And they did it, and they got stuffed. And that was when I feel like the energy, as much as the Bills had kind of already pulled it around, the energy in the stadium completely changed, and the whole game swung. The momentum swung on that play.
Yeah, I think it's. Go ahead, John.
I just, Jerry and I are forced into a position where we're wearing two brains or two hats, right? So as a player, I look at the slow start as it's frustrating, but I also would say, Amari Cooper catches that ball on the first drive, and I think the complexion of the first quarter changes immeasurably, right? So, but as a fan, it creates doubts, right? Because all we want is on the first three drives of the game, we want to be up 21-0 with 7 sacks, 2 long runs and 3 TD passes. And you just kind of, as a fan, you get kind of locked up into this. One problem is actually the stem to 14 other problems. And next thing you know, I'm down the rabbit hole. But as a player, when you're, those guys went to the sideline, their reaction was about 1% of what a fan reaction is. You're thinking to yourself, hey, our game plan is there. We're cool. These guys are beatable. We might be starting a little bit slow. The guys are making drawings in the dirt with the bottle cap and the twig and all right, we're just going to reload. We're going to continue to retool this thing. It frustrates me as a fan. I want to know why we don't start faster and better on both sides of the ball. But as a player, kind of get it. And I realize that the game plan evolves. I just want it to evolve a little quicker as a fan.
Yeah. And I think the game plan, and John makes a great point. If you start chasing things, it's just going to create bigger issues. And, you come off the field with the score the way it was, highly manageable, right? You didn't play very good football, but yet the score is completely manageable for the second half. If you panic and start chasing things, next thing you know, you're down 3 scores and you've got a huge hill to climb. So part of the game plan is just being patient and realizing that at the end, your players are better than their players, and it'll get figured out. And that's what the Bills did today.
I feel like being patient is not dropping the ball on 3rd and 2, right?
Yeah,
that's an executable moment.
But I feel, Jerry, that you just, and this isn't a surprise, and it's not like, oh my gosh, that's almost amazing. Like, we're all on the same page. I feel like what you just described is Josh Allen at times. Josh Allen is like, okay, I got to get a big gain here. Like, I've got to find that play that's going to kind of get us moving versus just getting us moving by hitting the 6-yarder or hitting the 7-yarder.
I want my quarterback to have that feeling. I want my guy behind the center all the time.
30 yards downfield.
Look, I want him to be that guy, right?
Yeah.
That's what true leadership is. And the thought process of, these guys are looking at me, understanding that the eyes are on you and being able to accept the weight of that burden or responsibility. And it's how you translate it into what you see on the field that makes the bigger difference, but you want that mindset.
Yeah, for sure. Well, this was a good football game. It ended well. The Buffalo Bills scored 34 unanswered points, as I said earlier, and you look at just kind of the things that swung us. Again, I talked about the defense already, very much kind of suffocated the Titans there at the end, started getting to Mason Rudolph a lot, and then that first run that Ray Davis had was you could feel it in the stadium. You could feel it in the stands as far as just the electric. Was it 22 yards or something like that?
Up the middle. Up the middle.
It was definitely
between the tackles.
So I guess so I guess every up the middle run, regardless of formation and where the quarterback's standing and the running back standing, is the same exact run, is what you're telling me.
No. What I'm saying is the people use the expression up the middle. What they should say is between the tackles, but understanding that there are probably Jerry, at least 3 or 4 variations of plays that we run between the tackles. Yes. Between some sort of zone revert or split zone, some sort of power, some sort of a counter motion, things of that nature. It all quickly looks the same.
Yeah.
But, I think this team really, really runs inside zone really well. And even traditional zone, Jerry. What's your take?
No, I agree with that. But I think there's something in the Tennessee film that they did not want to attack C-gap or D-gap very much. There was something there. This was a team that ran a lot of zone. They had extra guys out there. There was things that they saw that they didn't want to go out there. And you kind of saw it with Josh Allen. He didn't have any big runs today. He tried to pull it. There were guys there to play it. He tried, scramble ability was not there. They were shutting off those alleyways, and they were saying, okay, we're going to force you to run to our 2 huge run stoppers inside. Yeah. And eventually it worked. Eventually they started getting some runs. And I think a big part of it was when they finally decided, you know what, let's get Ray Davis in the game, please, and give him a little bit different style of runner. It's nothing against James Cook.
Agreed.
It's that's the thing. It's like when Ray Davis gets carries, it's nothing against James Cook. It's just like when we were playing and you had Thurman and you had Kenny Davis, 2 different styles of runner, and both were extremely effective at certain times because it gave you a little bit of a change up. And when you got big, huge, heavy dudes, they tie stuff up. And if Cooks likes to hezzy step, he likes to stutter and then go a lot of times. That's not Ray Davis. So a lot of times you allow those bigger dudes a second to get set. They can stop that stuff. When Davis gets the ball and is downhill fast, they have a hard time getting off that initial block to make the play. So it's just part of it.
Yeah.
I never was a boxer because if somebody probably ever hit me in the nose, all the blood would leave my body in like 3 seconds. But Jerry, why do we run the ball? And it's the boxing analogy. Same reason boxers go to body blows, right?
Yeah.
They are exhausting. They wear guys out. You run the ball to wear them out. So at some point, that boxer from the body blows starts to drop his hands, and then you go for the dome, right? So it doesn't hurt my feelings, or I don't question why we run between the tackles early, because you got to get those big guys a little tired. Now, to the difference between Ray Davis and James Cook, to what Jerry said, is if they are big and strong and they shed fairly well, the best thing that we can do is get a guy like Ray Davis who's 1 step in the ground and he's still arriving at the defender at the same point or not long after the offensive lineman is making impact or connection with the defensive tackle. And then you're falling forward. You're doing the Thurman Thomas. It's a 2-yard game. How the hell did it end up being 5? Right.
Yeah. No, super good. And then you watch just the efficiency of the pass game come to life, Josh, in the early portion of that game, the first half. Obviously, I don't remember what his completion percentage was from where I was sitting. I know at halftime they were outgained 218 to 90 yards. The Titans had gained 218. And then at some point in one of the replays that I watched when I got home after the game, Josh was, I think, 10 for 20. And then he finished the game at 63%. I think he's 22 for 33 or 21 for 33 or something like that. So obviously the passing game got super efficient. And, we've seen Khalil Shakir do it over and over again. Like he had some wiggle. He had a couple great catches. Amari Cooper had, I think we'll get into the stats here in a minute, had a bunch. Keon Coleman had some life in his legs, which was great. All in all, though, I mean, they just, the whole game came together the way that you wanted it to, and they got it done. And that's the most important thing.
No, I agree. I think that, again, it's being patient early in the first half and allowing things to develop and then go from there. You knew that you had a guy playing quarterback for Tennessee that was highly immobile. He wasn't going to get out of the pocket. And once you started getting to him, you were going to make some plays. And that's what happened in that second half. I mean, Groot rushed well in the first half too, but he was just a second late.
Right.
And then in the second half, he started finishing his rushes and getting to the quarterback as well as some others. So, no, I mean, that to me is what it's all about. It's a 4-quarter game, right? And I hate to throw all these cliches out, but you don't win the game in the first 30 minutes.
We'll let him off at the pass, Jerry.
Right? You don't win the game in the first 30. You win the game in the fourth quarter, and that's the way the Bills played today.
Yeah, for sure. Looking at the stats for the Buffalo Bills in this football game, Josh Allen was 21 of 33, 323 for his first 300-yard game of the season, 2 touchdowns. Again, no interceptions. You can't say enough about the turnovers that Josh Allen is not having. Not that I feel like the turnovers really overly hurt the Bills in years past. He clearly throws the ball a lot. Sometimes he's forcing plays and has to put a Superman cape on. To John's point, he hasn't really had to force those plays this year. And it's been fun to watch. I almost sometimes am waiting for it. I'm on the edge of my seat. Like I felt like this was probably going to be the game where he was going to get that first pick of the season. I don't know where you guys are at if you're just settled in, but for me, there's been a little bit of is it coming?
Well, no, Josh was the first to tell you he's thrown about 5 balls that should have been picked off,
right?
But they weren't. So I mean, it's not like he hasn't put it in harm's way. They just haven't.
Right.
Plays have not been made.
I don't even think about it. I honestly, it'll come, but it's not something that's even in the back of my mind, right?
Right.
I think that it's the idea that you can build up this we're unbeatable mentality and attitude and deliver it, amongst your teammates and just kind of revel in that, practice and prepare accordingly, but then bring that product, that mindset to the field week in and week out. Yeah. And, it's 17 games for us, in 18 weeks, it's over. But when you are a player, it doesn't move that quickly.
Yeah.
Days are hard, days are long, and you're doing a repetitive thing every week. That's why I always tell Jerry, by about the second week of December, after having the same meeting over and over every Wednesday for the past freaking 20 weeks, I wanted to kill everybody on my team. You're just sick of everybody. So you're continually trying to manufacture a little bit of that brotherhood, that excitement, even though you're like, my God, it's the same guy. It's the same meeting. It's the same installation.
Every single time. Getting into the running backs, Ray Davis led the day, which is interesting because he didn't have a run in the first half. 5 carries, 41 yards, did the big 22-yard run. And then he had the touchdown run at the end of the game, which was brilliant, averaging 8.2 yards per carry with the touchdown. James Cook was second with 12 carries for 32 yards, 2.7. A lot of that, again, was in the first quarter in some of those drives. And then Josh Allen had 3 carries for 1 yard. It would be interesting to have you fellas, specifically John on the Off Tackle Show, break down what I found interesting about the run game today was, as Josh called it, the inefficiency on the inside handoff over and over again from the shotgun, first down, second down, first down, second down, first down, second down. They did it like 3 times in a row and didn't really gain any yardage. And then when they were inside the 5, I think they did it again to Cook, and that's the one that he scored on. And then they did not come back to it, I don't think, in the second half. Like, they abandoned it. They were like, well, got the touchdown. Let's get out of here with that. And then they started running, obviously, other formations from the run. Up the middle, yes, but they were running different formations. I don't know if you guys have a thought on that, but it was just something that was interesting to me.
John?
Yeah, just a quick thought. When you run inside zone from the gun, you don't have the running back running downhill to take the ball from the quarterback. That means that the time lapse between the snap of the ball, how long the offensive linemen have to hold their blocks, and how soon or when the running back gets to the line of scrimmage is probably a good second longer. And that's an eternity in football, as you know.
Yeah.
So I've never loved it. I get it, right? You want that quarterback back there seeing everything. It makes so much more sense. This is something we have to live with. And I think early on, just going back to the boxing analogy, it's body shots. And you're wearing those guys out and they're hyped up and you're hyped up, but you got to hold those blocks a long time, waiting for James or waiting for Ray just to get to the line of scrimmage.
Yeah. Could it have been a matchup thing that they saw in the Titans and they just felt like they could potentially expose that play on them?
No, we run that play week in and week out. That's your bread and butter. You have to make that play viable. And on the first series, like I get it. Everybody's upset because the first 3 series, but the very first series, we were in 3rd and 2 because we ran the ball on first and second down, and we gained about 4 yards each time. And that's what we as offensive linemen are delivering to you, the quarterback and the wide receivers.
Right.
This is our gift to you. 3rd and short. Now pay us. Give us a gift back and throw that short little pass and catch the damn thing.
But also, the strength of their defensive is up the middle. Their line up the middle. I mean, Swift is a huge dude. They had big guys inside. And there was a couple times I saw, and I'll have to look at it. John, I don't know if you saw it or not, but there was one time that, and I don't know if it's because Edwards left too soon or whatever, but, McGovern's trying to reach a freaking a 2 technique or an inside shade on the guard, and it's like kind of really hard blocks, almost to the point where you wish the quarterback would have checked at the line and run it the other way. there was a few times there were some looks they ran into. I don't know how much they give Josh the ability to flip a running play, but we used to do that all the time. We had guys to go to, and because there was numerous times Jim Kelly would call a running play and Kent would do the old turn with his knee on the ground and look at him like, no, we're not doing that.
Yeah.
And we'd run it the other way. So I'm not sure how much they switch up, but there's a few times the look wasn't really good.
Yeah, and if that's the case, Jerry, you know as well as I do, at the guard position, right, you got to strike with the inside foot and keep heavy on the inside and wait for your center to get there. And we all know you can't block level 2 until you secure level 1. And those guys have a pulse too, right? So it takes a little time to get in the groove, to figure it out. I think by and large, though, one of the big things I look at, I think we had one negative running play in the game?
Yeah.
Because if you could stay away from negative run plays, other than I think Josh had a negative running play. It was a called run.
Third quarter heading away from the tunnel, heading to the other side of the stadium.
Yeah, that was a head scratcher. I didn't like that call.
But you hand the ball off on first down, you get 2 yards. Hand the ball off on second down, you get 3 yards. That's not sexy, right? Fans don't like that. But now all of a sudden it's 3rd and 5, and you've got multiple options, and that's the whole thing about staying 3rd and 6 or less. But as far as Tennessee goes, and I'm pretty sure I made this comment on Thursday's show, I truly believe they're a good quarterback away from being a pretty decent team.
Right.
They've got good coaching. They've got some good players. Now, granted, the receivers are frustrated. It looks like DeAndre Hopkins is on his way out in the trade next. But this is a group that has ability and talent. They just don't have that elite or really good guy at the pivot that can lead them to wins.
Right. 100%. The everybody eats thing kind of came back today, which was interesting. Keon Coleman led the way, 4 receptions for 125 yards. Had a couple great catches and great runs. Amari Cooper, 4 receptions as well for 66 yards and 16.5 per reception and a touchdown. Khalil Shakir, 7 for 65. Dalton Kincaid, 3 for 52. Ray Davis, 1 for 6. Dawson Knox, 1 for 5. Ty Johnson, 1 for 4 in the touchdown. And then Curtis Samuel, I heard he got hurt. So it wasn't like I didn't notice it from the stand.
He got hurt, but it wasn't turf toe again. It was his shoulder.
Oh, gotcha.
So,
well, that's not great. I don't know if we've heard anything about that since, but and then obviously Terrell Bernard got hurt in this game as well, which Dr. Brad I think originally thought it was a knee, but they're saying it's an ankle. They're saying
he thought it was an ankle. He got stepped on.
Gotcha.
He'll be fine. A little duct tape, a little super glue.
He's got another one.
That's what you're dealing with him. That's why he probably was a 3rd-round pick. I mean, you're dealing with durability issues on a linebacker that's not very big.
Right. Well, yeah, we've talked about that all season. That the Buffalo Bills, if this is the style that they want to use and it works, they need like 6 of these. They need 6 Terrell, like 4 to 6 Terrell Bernards to kind of keep them stacked in the like kind of going. So the Buffalo Bills.
But when he's in there, man, he is spectacular.
Gosh. He is.
And
so
look,
good.
You know what? Injury prone, and to me, that's a bad luck thing. Injury prone is like, hamstring all the time and, some other thing that's almost self-induced. But, I think this is part of the growing process. I'm, eternal optimist. Maybe it's my Shakespearean flaw. I think, he grows out of that too a little bit. What, you didn't read Shakespeare, Jerry? No, you didn't go to Catholic school like I did. Mac Hollins, Joe, you like to crack on Mac. I get it. But, we have a Discord channel where we're going through the game, going live commentary. And Jerry brought up a good point. He delivers something in the passing game that Karl Mock used to call beep dick. And he's strong at the point of attack, blocking downfield. And there's something to be said for that. I don't like the drops either, but he's on the team, Joe. We're keeping him.
He's been in the league a long time, since 2017. He has basically 138 catches for his career. So he's not exactly the guy that, for me, Amari Cooper is that guy. Like, right? That's the dude. Khalil Shakir is that guy. Curtis Samuel. I
totally agree.
And
Amari dropped the ball.
I'm not going to apologize for going in on Mac Hollins when it happens over and over and over again.
A, he's a complimentary piece, and B, I will get Josh's number, and you can call him tonight, Joe, and ask him why he throws to him, because I don't think anybody's forcing your quarterback to throw to one guy or another. So,
100%.
100%. When you make the comment, why are they throwing it to Mac Hollins? Well, we'll get Josh's number. You can ask Josh.
Get him on the jugs machine.
If anybody knows where he hangs out after games, let us know, and we'll send Joe
as
over.
much, Jerry, as you think that when I say why are they throwing it to Matt Collins, I don't mean Josh Allen. I'm letting you know right now that when I say why are they throwing it to Matt Collins, I absolutely mean Josh Allen, just so you know. And if I could talk to him, I could talk to him, I would. The Bills were outgained in the first half, as I said, 218 yards to 90, and finished the game 389 to the Titans 289. So again, the offense came to life, and the defense did as well, as they just suffocated the Titans. Passing yards, 200 yards for the Titans, 315 for the Bills, 89 rushing yards for the Titans, 74 for the Bills, 4.3 yards per play for the Titans, 7.2 for the Bills. At one point, the Bills, I think, were 0-4 for third down conversions. They finished the day at 3 for 10, which isn't great, but they did have 18 first downs, 54 total plays. They allowed 1 sack and actually sacked the Titans 5 times. They punted 5 times, 5 penalties for 40 yards. There was the one play that was a grounding on Mason Rudolph that they absolutely did not call, and DeAndre Hopkins comes running up the field from like 15 yards away, and like the referee points at him and is like, oh, he was throwing it to that guy, and it's like, no, he was not throwing it to that guy. I don't know what you guys felt about the refs, but I felt like they didn't involve themselves too much. There's a couple moments where they did, but
I have no idea what grounding is in high school, in college, or in the pros. I've read all the rules. Now I'm more confused than ever. It to me, I'm just like, I can't even deal with it.
By the way, Rudolph played at Oklahoma State, and I do know how to get a hold of him if you'd like to call him later on tonight to ask him if that was grounding or not. But I digress. The one that had me was the challenge that was, they lost the challenge, but it was a fumble. So the challenge is not good, but yet they don't lose a timeout.
Because he fumbled it. Yeah, at the end of that, I'm just sitting there going, do we have the ball or not? That's all I need to know. Is it our ball? My dad's like, yes,
like, what in the hell is that?
It was absolutely ridiculous. Yeah, and I couldn't see on the replay well enough Keon Coleman's pivot catch. I saw he got his feet in, but I guess even in the Discord channel, you guys were like, no, he bobbled the ball.
So what happened was when he caught it, he had his 1 foot in, and then he got the second one in, but as he turned, he lost control of the ball. Gotcha. And so when the third step went down, which then became the second step because he lost control, he stepped his toe on the line, and therefore it was not a completion.
Yeah,
but a hell of an effort.
Fantastic to watch.
Yes.
John, you want to do the Dude Awards?
Well, that's what's next on the thing. But before we do, let's invite everybody one more time to the Buffalo Bills fan cruise. Everybody, take a listen to this.
The inaugural Buffalo Bills fan cruise. You don't want to miss this with the Overreaction Buffalo podcast live in the Royal Theater. Eric Moulds, Jerry Ostroski, John Fina, Overreaction Buffalo podcast on the world's newest, smoothest, grandest cruise ship, Royal Caribbean's Utopia of the Seas. March 3rd, 2025. 10 restaurants included, 13 bars, and we are including the deluxe drink package. Order any type of cocktail you'd like at any bar, and make sure to order the specialty Buffalo Bills cocktails.
All right, Bills fans, we only have a certain amount of these rooms, so you better get to our website quickly, BuffaloBillsFanCruise.com. On Utopia of the Seas, you don't want to miss this. Meet and greet with the players, VIP events, Bills trivia. It's all right here for you. March 3rd, Utopia of the Seas, BuffaloBillsFanCruise.com.
BuffaloBillsFanCruise.com. John Fina, Jerry Ostroski, Eric Moulds, and Don Beebe, former teammate of Jerry and John's. And my understanding is they're still trying to fill one spot. This is going to be my first cruise, gentlemen. I've never been on a cruise before.
I want to get in that cage above the dance floor at the club in my swimsuit and eat a rib seasoned with the Big Bear barbecue. I'm not going to dance up there. I'm not going to try and do anything, sexy. I'm just going to sit up there and eat barbecue.
With barbecue sauce dripping on your chest and your belly. Oh my gosh. Anyways, I'm excited about it. I think you guys are excited about it. If any of you out there are cruisers, or if you've never been on a cruise and you'd like to hang out with us for a couple of days, March 3rd, BuffaloBillsFanCruise.com. It's going to be a riot. Yes. So everybody, every week, what we do here on the Overreaction postgame show is we give out our Dude Awards. and it is a victory. So we are in the dude variety of dude awards. This is my dude for the game. Jerry, why don't you go first?
Well, as much as I want to give the dude award to Keon Coleman, he got his ass snatched by a bunch of dudes after he caught that ball and broke out. We now know why he lasted to the second round, right? Of all the good things that Keon does, he's not a burner, but I don't care because we needed his type of pass catching ability. So he had a great game. But my dude award is twofold. I brought it up in the Discord channel. We quietly, I believe, have one of the best cornerback tandems in the league in being Rasul Douglas and Christian Benford. Those two guys, man, week in and week out, lock it down. And they don't have an easy job considering the amount of cover two that we play. So those are my dudes, both starting cornerbacks, Benford and Douglas.
Nice.
I thought you were going to take mine. I'm going to go with Greg Rousseau.
Oh.
It's kind of a kiss me deadly. He was playing against more or less a backup, right? But you have to deliver when you're playing against a rotational player, the right tackle there. And he did. And that's important. You don't want a guy to come out who's not their, 3-year, 5-year starter at right tackle and, not beat him, right? This guy was on the field to get beat, and Greg Rousseau really took advantage of that. And that's a dude. Bring it to the next game and the next game and the next game. And I'll give you the dude award for the rest of the season.
Love it. Yeah, for me, my dude award is going to go to Bobby Babich Jr. He just did a great job as far as just putting that defense back together, figuring out what he needed to do and what they needed to do to effectively. I don't know what you're about. I said the defense was suffocating about 17 times.
I was just saying my love for people that have ties to the city of Tulsa.
So okay, that works.
I'm very much.
That works.
Joe, I thought you were going to go with Taron Johnson, who is just amazing.
There's a lot of amazing football. I think was it you last week that said that when Johnson and Bernard are on the field together? Was it John? I thought one of you two said that, or might have been someplace else, that they just they do a very good job when they're together on the field. Yeah, go ahead.
I think that also, and what's funny is we've named 3 sets of dudes, and yet nobody for the first 42 minutes and 35 seconds of the show, we haven't talked about Amari Cooper at all.
So, and we can finish up there. It's probably not a bad idea. Do you want to start?
No, I think that Amari's as advertised. I mean, I think he came in and did exactly what we expected him to do. He's good against man coverage. He understands pass route concepts and where holes are. Even on the touchdown route, he didn't have any idea what the audible was. Keon Coleman actually told him what the audible was, runs the route and gets the touchdown. So, yes, the drop was unfortunate. I'd have to think, or I'm going to go ahead and play devil's advocate and say that Josh Allen probably doesn't throw the easiest to catch ball in the world because it's probably coming at you, like a Randy Johnson fastball. So,
birds explode.
I'll give him a pass for the first one in real time. But as advertised, exactly what this offense needs, and look forward to seeing him injected into this offense more as the weeks go along.
My quick take is, with a limited exposure to the playbook, the coaching staff just said, we don't give 2 shits. You're going in there. You're here to make an impact. We'll figure out the rest of this shit come Monday, Tuesday. Come in on your off hours. And it just has the recipe for being something great.
Go ahead, Jerry.
And by the way, since I am a little bit salty today, Walter, I never made a comment about him and his separation ability. I just made a comment about him getting snatched up by 4 guys when he was out in front of them. Yes, he tripped a little bit, but we all understand what his doing.
Right, Jerry? That's what Tom Man used to say. You're not paid to trip.
So on the Coleman piece, I can say from where I was sitting, we were all kind of sitting there on his first longer run when he got caught on that one too, and it was like, that's the slowest I think I've ever seen a wide receiver run like in the NFL. He's not fleet of foot. He's going to be a factor on this football team. Getting to Amari Cooper makes him better. Right? I feel like, and I think we may have seen a little bit of that. Again, that defense is very, very good, very good. But on the Amari Cooper part, apparently we have reached the PG-13 portion of the show because John was dropping swear words. And I'm just going to say that for me, the Amari Cooper situation, I'm excited that he's on this football team. I'm looking forward to what he's going to bring this year. I hope they figure out a way to keep him, maybe next year as well. But it's a big dick twist for me from the Buffalo Bills and this front office. The entire offseason, all we've heard is how, wide receiver by committee, we don't need a number one. We don't need this. And then, lo and behold, they go and they get a guy, they put him in the game, and then everybody can't talk enough about how he's drawing coverage and how he's making everybody else open and making it ever easier for everybody else to eat. And it's like, yep. Yeah. So there's an aspect of just, that's just, but I love what I saw from him today. Super, super excited for what he's going to be this year. So Jerry's got his hood on. That can't be good.
I have my hood on. I'm going back to Ali Sheedy mode. I'm hiding.
I get chastised for a couple of dirty words, and he says dick twist. Dock my pay. Exactly. Dock my pay.
Exactly.
I was setting up my dick twist moment. That's what I was doing. Is that right? I felt like that was pretty good TV. I'm sorry.
But the best part was that Joe actually blamed you for his inability to keep it PG. You know what I'm saying? Like your damn kids. I said it because my brother said it. I mean, seriously.
We digress.
Seriously.
Earmuffs. John's wearing a JA-17 shirt. So, is it anybody over or under 17 permitted on this program or no? I don't even know. But anyways, any final thoughts before I get us out of here, fellas?
No, I thought that, final thought for me, Bills came out flat. Wasn't a shock after playing the Jets on Monday night. They tuned it up in the second half and played like the Bills can play and need to play. And it's exciting right now to see that they are able to start slow, keep themselves in games, and then finish it in the second half and not panic. I mean, they did it earlier in the year against the Cardinals in the opener. They've had issues in the past where the wheels have fallen off. They've matured, especially at that quarterback position, to where they can maintain, stay in it, and then get to the late rounds and figure out a way to win.
Yeah, super good. John?
What he said. Honestly, I mean, that's what I would say. Exactly. So that's what you get. You have two offensive linemen on your damn show or our damn show, and we start sharing a brain, and then, you don't be surprised.
Well,
and my other thought is beat the ocean birds.
John, Jerry's got the Magneto hood on, so you guys shouldn't be able to share a brain right now.
Whitey bird.
I guess, does that make me Wolverine or something?
I don't know. What is it?
I think we've derailed. For me, it's just about stacking wins at this point. The Bills need to stack wins. They're not a desperate team at this point, but they need to do their job and stay out in front. And the AFC East should come to them, for lack of a better way of saying it. So super, super excited. Good show, fellas. Coming up this week, the Off Tackle with John Fina show, or I should say Aftermath tomorrow with me, the Off Tackle with John Fina show on Monday evening. And then we got Joe Marino from Locked On Bills on Tuesday for On the Beat. Hump Day Hotline on Wednesday, and then, of course, the Big O Show coming to you on Thursday with his preview of next week's game. The Buffalo Bills travel to Seattle, and I will actually get to be there. I've never been to Seattle before, so I'm excited to get.
You're going?
I'm going to the game.
I would have booked it if I knew you were going.
I'm sorry, you have time.
You're both at fault for that bull crap. Both of you do that.
Anymore.
Oh, by the way, I'm going to Houston. Did you know that? No, and John, you never brought that up.
That was the last.
I never.
Yeah, Houston's drivable for you.
Joe and I are on the phone, and there's John at the freaking tailgate, and he's over here, and he's got
a business meeting. I had a business meeting.
Okay, and John's got a poncho's jacket on, and he's in the middle. I'm like, my Lord.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's been awesome having. I got to get us out of here before we get in trouble. Hysterical. I've lost all train of thought. Thank you guys for joining us. The Buffalo Bills are 5-2. Head to Seattle. Stick with us all week. It's been a lot of fun watching this game and talking to you guys about it. But for me, for John, for Jerry, for all of us here at Overreaction, go Bills.
Go Bills.
Much love. Go Bills.
Go Bills.